Thank you, Deb, for having me and all the other artists that you sponsor in your bookstore. And this is your new location, and I'm awestruck by it. It's just a wonderful place to be. And it's so bright and airy and beautiful, and all the little collections of things look super. So much luck in your future. I'm very proud to be here again. I've had exhibits here with Deb before, and this time, since I always work art in series, since I returned to art in 1998, that's 23 years or so, I have found that working in series is fundamentally a good thing for me to explore the medium and subjects and so on, and new materials and things like that. So this is yet again a series that I'm doing, and it's called Bibelot, and it's a French word, Bibelots. And I first came across the word in the middle of making the series, and I really didn't have a thought to name the series yet, but when I heard this word, definition of this word, I thought that's exactly what I'm doing. And the word is Bibelot, and what it means is small objects of curiosity, beauty, and rarity. So I'm going to unpack what this is all about by talking about those 5 words. Small, yes, these are only 6 by 6 by 2. When I was working these ink and pencil pieces, I had been working bigger in the other forms of it. This is my 4th version of working in this material. But this time I went down to 6 inches, and the second word is there's small object. The word object, because of the 2-inch cradle on this clay board, it's a box-like piece of artwork rather than a flat painting, 2-dimensional. So small object, curiosity. With these intense patterns that I have in the pieces, there are 31 of them, I invite the viewer to come in close and examine the patterns so that you can kind of be intrigued. You're curious about what does this mean, what does that mean. So curiosity is a driving feature of this. Beauty, well, I think they're all beautiful. It's like your children. You think they're all beautiful. So I have 31 beautiful children here, and so I'm just hoping that someone else will think they're beautiful too. And then rarity. Any original piece of artwork is a rarity. There is nothing on earth like this. And that's the beauty of being able to come in and look at art, look at original art, and also to be able to have it in your home. So, I'd like to talk about the very origin of this pattern, this intense pattern making that I'm so involved in. In 2009, 11 years ago, I attended an afternoon workshop on making Zen tangles, and that's a meditative drawing exercise. And so I walked out of there after 3 hours, but I didn't know that ultimately it would change my art making. So I have been literally drawing on that inspiration of that day for many, many years now, for 11 years. And this is the 4th version of that, the Bibelot. So I'd like to talk for just a few minutes about 3 of the 31 pieces. This one is called Immigration. You might say, well, where did that come from? It's today. It's the news, it's our friends, it's so many parts of our world today. And you say, well, what does this have to do with it? Immigration? Well, I have figures. These are my figures. I have one jumping over a wall. I'm just going to go in close for a couple of the details. Another just absolutely running the span of the globe, running along the horizon. And another one is in the water. So, and then if you look at this positive negative space, it's an angel upside down. So many people didn't make it. So you say, well, here's a 6-inch piece of art and all that seriousness. Well, you cannot make art and put your heart and mind into it without putting what you are today and what you're affected by. And I'm affected by the issue of immigration. And then on another, this one is called Josephine Baker Makes an Appearance. And you can do some research on her if you don't know who she is. She was a great entertainer and singer in the early 20th century and mid-century as well. And I read an article in the New York Times one day that they were opening her chateau because she was an expatriate. She moved from America to France. And they have restored her chateau. And she was a very generous person. She had a rainbow of children. She adopted many, many children. So I see that I have put the spotlight for Josephine. And as I was making this, she appeared first. She made an appearance because of the curvy line, and her costumes were just so fabulous, and sometimes lack thereof. She was fabulous. Anyway, so here's Josephine, and then the spotlight and the curtain, and look at all the hands. Well, they could be applause because she was worldwide. Her recognition was, she just was the most famous person. The only woman to speak at Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream rally that day. The only woman. But it's also the hands who were reaching out to her. She gave away all of her money. She died in poverty, basically. So this is the story of Josephine Baker that I learned from reading an article. So what inspires is reading. And then reading an emotion, let's say, connecting. Here's another. If you look at this, you say, whoa, what do you see first? You might notice, well, these look like big eyes. Your curiosity might move you in closely and say, oh, this looks like houses from an aerial view. Oh, look at these fish. Okay. Well, this was inspired in totality by a visit to the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. And there was an M.C. Escher exhibit. Hooray. A lot of people love Escher passionately, as I do, but that exhibit was just fabulous. I came away from that, I bought a couple of the books, and I just couldn't tear myself away. So he made so many images of flowers and houses at very many angles, and he would turn corners flat on paper, but you were turning a corner in a very strange way. And he did his fish is kind of an iconic, how he did his fish. So I borrowed from him, I put it together. And that's what we do. We get inspired. We can't get it out of our heads or out of our hands. And it goes from there right out onto whatever surface we're working on. So if you want to know more about the way I get involved with art for all these years, I have a website, which I will spell for you because it's rather long, paletteandpen.com, paletteandpen.com. So come and visit, and you can even email me on that website, and I'd be glad to have a chat with you on my email. So thank you again, Debbie. This is great location.
Thank
Come
you.
to see Biblo.
Thank you, Judy.
You're welcome, Deb.
And thank you for explaining all your inspiration. And they're all fascinating little pieces. And if you would like to see them in person, you can come here during our regular business hours, starting July 1st through the 31st. And our hours are 10 to 5, Tuesday through Friday, and 10 to 4 on Saturday. And we're located at 72 East Main Street in Webster. Hope to see you soon.